Eric, EJay, hey, great to see you. It's been a whole long week. So it's great to catch up for our the final weekly picks.
The final weekly
final
picks
of the finals.
That is accurate. This is all for all the marbles.
This is for all of and that's all you're gonna get is marbles.
That's all you get is marbles. Literally all the marbles in my pocket. That's what you get.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, no? I mean, how not difficult was it to pick the games?
Well, so I actually had a strategy with how I picked the games.
Ooh,
I
drama.
I took the 10 most competitive games based on differential and MPI score.
Interesting.
So in theory, according to MPI numbers, these are the 10 hardest games.
Interesting.
Yep. Or not hardest, but most competitive. Yeah.
Based on NPI score.
Based on MPI scores. Yep.
And I see we have one of the 8 NESCAC teams on here as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter.
I was gonna do all the NESCAC games.
Yeah.
And then well, we can do all of them next week, because they'll all be there still. So.
And St. Lawrence? No, they didn't.
I think they're playing a friendly against Mount Union.
Oh man, we're out. We're done. Over. That was it. Final week. That's it.
Yeah.
Trading barbs.
There you go.
All right, let's jump right into it then.
Jump right into it. Yeah. So, according to the MPI scores, the 10th most difficult game or evenly matched game of the weekend or of Saturday. The 10th most evenly matched game on Saturday with a differential of 41 points. Ohio Northern versus Franciscan. Franciscan is 60. Ohio Northern is 19.
Yeah. I
would have to think that this isn't going to be as close as the numbers say.
I actually think I watched them a couple times. I
Franciscan
did a Fields of Dreams from their lovely place. They're
13-1-5.
They can actually play. They're in the in the pack. Won the tournament, but I just think Ohio Northern is that much better. I think they beat. I think they tied Kenyon.
Who? Franciscan?
Franciscan. Is it Kenyon? Let me see. Where is it?
No.
Yeah, they tied Kenyon.
They tied Capital. Oh, yeah, they tied Kenyon too.
Yeah,
they tied Capital, tied Kenyon, lost to Mount Union.
Of course. So I would think you're right. I think on paper it's probably a little tighter but I think Ohio Northern is. I mean, they ran a gauntlet of a schedule, so.
And they did well. I mean, they're 13-3-4.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're a 6 or 7 loss team. I mean, they only lost 3 games.
No.
So that's game 1.
And I can't remember who's the home. Where are they playing that? Is it at Ohio Northern?
That bracket is at Denison.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So the winner of this plays.
The winner of Denison and Anderson. Yeah.
Anderson. Yeah. Okay.
Could be a short. Could be a short stay.
Yeah.
But
all right.
So that was 10.
I like that one. That was interesting.
Number 9. Ohio Wesleyan and Catholic with a differential of 36. Ohio Wesleyan's 23, Catholic is 59.
So this is where I hate to say this is going to depend on which Ohio Wesleyan shows up.
Right.
You know,
I've seen Catholic like 2 or 3 times, and
yeah,
I'm just not
no,
impressed.
no. And not to mention, I think Ohio Wesleyan again, and it's no fault of Catholic. The Ohio Wesleyan, the NCAC can be pretty brutal. So,
Hmm.
and they, you know,
Well, yeah, and Catholic does, the landmark is nothing special, and Catholic
right,
does try and get some good out of conference games. I think their out of conference games this year were not as strong as they were last year,
right,
and I don't think they're as good as they were last year.
yeah, yeah,
They're 10-5-5. Ohio Wesleyan 11-4-3. Um, Jay Martin's final year could be his final game.
And where is this being played?
That is at Mary, Washington.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a short weekend regardless for either one of these things.
Right.
It's like, it's, um, yeah, I mean, I would tip my hat to Ohio Wesleyan. I think they're a lot more dynamic. I think defensively they're a lot more solid, a lot more organized. Again, I think it depends on which team shows up, but
Okay, but
could Catholic give it a run? Yes. I just don't know if they have the goal scoring prowess.
like if Ohio Wesleyan doesn't bring their best, does that automatically put them in a hole, or does Catholic have to bring their best anyway?
I think Catholic has to bring their best regardless.
Right.
I think yeah. I
So
think I
so
think 100% OWU versus 100% Catholic. OWU wins.
right.
So I think OWU needs to be out of sorts, and then I think Catholic needs to show up and just play really great soccer.
Okay.
But yeah, I think as of right now, you know look, and then what they lost to DePauw right in the final tournament
Yeah.
final, but in PKs I thought it was, or was it 3-2? I can't remember. Um,
No, that wasn't the PK game, right? That was the defensive miscue in the back, right?
oh, that's right, 2-1. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was yeah.
Okay,
So
the center back just botched the
yeah,
ball, and
botched a ball. Yeah,
kid walked
left
in
it
with it, and
on a
yeah,
platter.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think I'd still tip my hat to Ohio Wesleyan on this one. Um,
Okay.
although I don't think either of these teams would. I mean, I'm going to assume Dennison is going to take Anderson, and I think Dennison might be too good for either one of these guys.
I
But
I I like Dennison.
yeah,
I I've seen them, and they're good. I like them.
yeah, yeah, they can play. They got
Yeah.
some really, really good, like really solid guys. Their spine is really good, like
Hmm.
center forwards, center
Right.
mid, and their center backs really tough. So, all right, number 3.
All right. The eighth most evenly matched game with a differential of 35 is number 55 Emory going to number 20 Lynchburg. Lynchburg's hosting.
Yeah,
I don't know enough about. I haven't seen enough of the UAA this year to
yeah.
understand how
It,
come
it
they all
wasn't.
were 500.
It wasn't. I don't know if it was just the year. I wouldn't. I wouldn't say it's some of the best soccer I've watched seen out of the UAA. That's why this again, Emory automatic qualifier because they technically won the league.
Right.
Otherwise, I don't. They don't. I don't think they make it. You
Eight,
know.
6, and 2.
And I think Lynchburg. I give. I who are they playing? Oh, I watched that Lynchburg, Washington, and Lee
Hmm.
game. And I still liked Lynchburg. I just don't think they were able to score. I think Washington and Lee was kind of lucky, but yeah, I think I'm going to tip my hat to Lynchburg on this one. I don't think Emory's
So
that good.
the winner of that gets Dickinson St. Mary's.
Yeah.
So, okay, all right.
Dickinson, are they on?
They're not on the list.
They're not on the list. Okay.
No. The
Next.
seventh most competitive game based on rankings is number 52 Otterbein, number 18 Washington and Lee.
I actually think this could be a good game. As much as it pains me.
Well, I think it depends on, like you said, with Catholic and which team shows up.
Which team shows up?
Which
yeah.
Washington Lee's been
They've
doing
been
well.
pretty good, yeah.
Struggled a bit in the beginning, turned it around.
I have to say, they're a far cry from. They do a lot of Route 1 stuff now. They're effective, obviously, but a lot of popcorn ball, a lot of balls sent up high.
Well, we know that works.
Yeah. As much as it pains me, Otterbein looked real organized against Mount Union. And it's really hard to break down. And I think they could give Washington at least some fits.
Otterbein's 12-6-3.
Yeah.
We followed them for a while in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then they kind of hit a spell where they lost like 3 out of 6 games. They lost to Mount Union, then they lost to Wilmington, then they lost to Ohio Northern with a win in between those. Yeah. So they pick up in the middle of the season. They had a decent schedule.
It's a good program. They do have a good schedule.
They have a real good schedule. They played Case, Trine, Hanover, Texas Lutheran, Ohio Wesleyan, Kenyon, Denison.
Yeah.
A pretty good schedule.
Yeah. Oh, and they had, Ohio Northern's in there, and John Carroll, and yeah, I think this could be a game. I really do. I think this. I don't see a clear.
Where's that?
I don't
game
see
played?
a clear on this one.
This game's at Hopkins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which has to be the most depressing field to play at from a spectator's point of view.
It's
a cavernous football stadium.
I told Coach Appleby, I'm like, dude, use your powers of influence to at least get the video recording from the other
side. I know,
so that you could see.
Right. Like, every time I watch them, like
it looks.
There's
vacant.
Nobody there, just empty. It's just like an empty stadium.
It is vacant. Yeah. And that one, I don't know. Have you ever been?
No.
Yeah, the one side that you don't see is like the big bleacher, like it's twice the height, and it's got a press box and looks majestic. And occasionally you could see when the camera turns, like there's people and stuff, and you're like, come on, dude, go over on the far side. But I don't think they can. So, I don't think there's anything over there. Like there's no like press area or some place to put a camera. And then I
just do what they did during COVID and just get like the pictures of
the
people.
Fake thing. that and then I said, that's what MLS 1.0 used to do. They put the big tarps over empty sections. It's like, why don't you do something like that? Like some nice little picture of some place. And
Hopkins or something.
Yeah, that didn't go over too well either.
No. All right.
So
Washington Lee Otterbein.
All right.
Oh, okay, what are we at? 7, 6, 6.
6 it is.
Sixth is, what are the numbers here? Separated by 32 points. Number 32, Hope, and number 64, DePauw.
DePauw is not bad.
They're not. I watched that game, that
Yeah,
that
they're
final,
not
and
bad.
they weren't bad at all.
No, they can play.
Um, I think this is a pretty good game. I mean, Hope
Yeah,
is a good team too. I liked watching them play.
yeah.
Um, I think these are probably two fairly evenly matched teams.
This
Hope
is
maybe a little
kind of like
better,
the
but
last game. I'm not too sure. I don't
yeah.
see a clear line of sight as to who I think's going to win, which might be a good thing. But um, DePauw's really good defensively. It struck me watching the couple times that I watched him, just really solid defensively. And I, defense wins championships, but
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, but Hope can play. Hope gets the ball around. Hope can score.
So they played each other in the season, Hope and DePaul. They tied 2-2.
2-2. It's like you picked this one on purpose. Like 2-2.
Yeah.
This is a I think this is a hard one. This I think this might be the hardest game on the schedule. That I mean DePauw tied North Park, tied Hope, as you mentioned. They lost to Kenyon, tied Wabash. I don't know. I don't know. Look, in credit, they beat Ohio Wesleyan, right? And then they beat Denison and PKs. So I don't know. This one's hard.
It
I'm
is.
gonna
It is. Like I said,
say pick the real winner.
I think they're close, evenly, closely matched teams.
Yeah,
I guess you got to be a little bit better to start getting some of these patty cakes.
yeah.
You don't want to.
Let me look at something really quick. Box
And
score.
where's that game being played? That game is at Eau Claire.
Yeah. And if you look at the stats for that game, they were pretty much even.
The Hope
Yeah,
DePaul game.
yeah. Hope
Yeah,
DePauw.
15 shots each.
Yeah, yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. One was there.
Although,
One was a PK.
yeah,
Right. One of the 4 goals was a PK.
yeah. Although it does look like DePauw is the much more physical team.
A foul
15,
count. Yeah.
15 fouls to 3. Oh,
Those schools don't foul. Hope, Messiah.
yeah, no, that's not their.
It's not in their
Yeah,
makeup.
they're not allowed to.
Right.
Um, yeah, that's. I don't know. This one might be a struggle for me. That's definitely. I don't.
It's a tough game.
Yeah, yeah. I
We
just
might get
don't.
a lot of draws on this one. Draw
Yeah,
being, game ends in a tie. I mean, it's
tie,
not
and
who.
then they.
Yeah, the pool is not who advances. It's what's the
Yeah,
outcome of the game. And
yeah,
a peak penalty kicks would be a draw.
yeah, yeah. Let's be clear about that. Like, there's
Yeah.
no absolute winner. You can go into a tie. That's
Mm-hmm.
how it would end. Yeah, we're
Yep.
playing the NCAA rules now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's a tough one.
5. We're up to 5 now. 5th most competitive game based on NPI score. Number 58 versus number 30. Calvin and Hamilton. 25-point difference. 7, 6, and 3 Hamilton.
don't be so deceived, right? Like this is the hard part with these teams. Like you look at their schedule,
Well,
and they're pretty much. I mean, they got it handed to them against Middlebury twice, but in the but Calvin is good. I'm looking at this and I'm saying it's Calvin. I don't
okay.
I don't see Hamilton as being anything. Who did I watch? I watched him play Amherst.
Hamilton lost to Middlebury 3-1, lost to
Yeah,
Middlebury
very for
4-2,
two. Yeah,
lost to Amherst 3-2,
yeah,
lost to Tufts 4-1, lost to
yeah,
Wesleyan 2-1.
yeah.
They did beat Bates.
They beat Williams.
That's
Yeah,
it. That's their only win. They beat Bates.
yeah,
They beat Trinity. They beat Utica.
yeah.
They
Like
beat
they're out of
Ithaca.
conference. They're out of conference for the most part. You know, is wins, right? That's the
Well,
but then
yeah,
but
they
then
beat out. No, they lost to Oswego.
yeah, that was their first
They
game.
beat
They
SUNY
tied
Poly.
Oneonta. They beat SUNY
Yeah,
Polytechnic.
I hope so.
um,
So
yeah, this one's another. I'm this one I can call it. I think it would be Calvin's game to
okay,
lose. I just I mean I think Hamilton competes. And again, this will be why I'm most interested in seeing Hamilton is because we always talk about how good the NESCAC is.
right,
Well, this is this lower end NESCAC team, and how do they compete? Can
right,
they compete outside of the NESCAC?
right,
I don't know.
and they
I think
can.
that's
And
I think
and I'm
that's
not,
the
and I made that post about Bowdoin, and I don't have anything against Bowdoin, and I
yeah,
think Bowdoin's a good team, and I think they're they'll do okay in the tournament. I don't think they'll
yeah,
win it, but they'll do
yeah,
okay. Like they're deserving to an extent of being there. I just didn't understand how on earth they can get so many points
yeah,
when they beat nobody.
yeah,
And Hamilton's the same way. They beat
yeah.
Williams, but that's it.
That's it.
They beat
Yeah,
Williams.
I don't
That's it.
understand the value of a win or a
Right.
value of a tie. I
Right.
can't quantify that in my mind
Right. That's why I
based
just
on
don't
some
get.
of this
Well,
stuff.
somebody said strength of schedule is like 85% of the dial. You know that
Yeah,
that's got to change.
yeah.
It. Okay, great strength of schedule. Well, win your games, and you didn't.
You could,
know,
you know what? If that's the case, then I would set up my schedule super
it's hard.
difficult, and
Like
lose them all.
Rowan,
Yeah,
like
and lose
Rowan.
them all. Right? If that's what it's going to mean, strength of schedule means that it doesn't matter your results.
Right,
You
right.
can still get in. I don't know.
So that's
I don't
good.
know.
I think that needs to be tweaked a little bit. But
Yeah.
like again, I've got nothing against
Yeah.
Bowdoin as a team. I think they're good. I
Yeah.
think I actually have them winning their first game in the
Yeah.
tournament. I'm not sure about the second game, but I think I've got them winning the first game. I mean, they're a good team. Hamilton,
Yeah.
I think Hamilton is too. They're probably decent
Yeah.
enough. I just think Calvin is, going to give them some
Yeah.
problems. Maybe
Yeah.
unfortunately they don't get to play. Podunk
No. Yeah.
University. They're playing
Yeah.
Calvin. They're playing a good
Yeah.
team.
Yeah. 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 Who's tested too? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Calvin runs the gauntlet too. I mean, they play it in a
Right.
pretty competitive schedule and try to play teams outside of the conference. They're not shy about scheduling tough games.
So they've got
Right?
5 losses, of which 3 of them were in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah,
They have not lost since October 12th. So they haven't lost in a
no,
month.
yeah. And I remember the Like they lost those 3 games, and I'll say I wrote them off, but I just kind of
Right.
I was like, wow, they can't compete, right? I think
Right,
especially after that Ohio Northern game,
but they
but
lost because they got
yeah,
hammered by
they
Ohio
got
Northern. Yeah.
hammered by Ohio Northern, but
Then they came back and hammered Mount Union.
yeah, which we don't like to talk about right now.
But yeah, this is going to be a good game, and this is the reason why it's on here is because they are ranked so close to each other,
Yeah,
30 and 58. So in theory, this should be a very competitive game, and I think it will
yeah,
be. I don't think it's a runaway either way.
yeah. All right.
All right, the fourth most competitive game is Muhlenberg and Stevens. This is where it starts to get tough. A differential of 15. Stevens is 41, Muhlenberg 26.
This is Matt Turner's school that turned him down.
Right, yeah.
I, this is gonna be terrible, and I'm sorry, Mule Nation. I I don't find them particularly impressive anyway. And this is again, I'm not too convinced that they. I mean, to give them a bid, I don't understand the scoring. I just don't. I don't
12,
understand.
yeah, 12, 12 3 and 6.
Yeah,
All right.
you know.
And what are they? 20, I want to say 28?
I mean, I think their best result is they
26.
basically tied Johns Hopkins twice. They tied him in the regular season, and then they just tied him in the finals.
Right. Yeah, they beat F&M. But yeah, I mean, they lost F&M, they beat F&M. They beat Dickinson. I guess that's where they got their points
They got their points, yeah.
from one game because they didn't beat anybody else. They beat, yeah, Lebanon, Moravian.
Yeah. And
Again, it's these ties.
yeah. Yeah. I think that's honestly, I think that's where you're getting your I know nothing about this, and I have zero interest in learning
Right.
about the MPI scoring thing, but I do think it is ties that
It looks
can
like it.
drive you over,
Yeah, it
right?
looks like it. Yeah, yeah. They
So
should do away with they should reinstitute overtime again.
I
Get rid of some of these ties.
yeah. There are a lot. You do see a lot of teams with 4, 5, 6 ties. Like
Yeah,
it's a regular thing.
yeah.
And I will say, this Stevens to me seemed a little bit inconsistent, right? Like they never quite
Yeah.
delivered the best performance that I think they're capable of. Although they do have a talented team, so I do
Well,
think
I mean,
it's which Stevens is gonna show up on the day. I think if they show up and they play the way they can, they play the way they did their through um, their conference tournament. I think you could see them. I think they could take the game, but again, I don't necessarily don't think have the confidence to say that um, that they're going to show up for the game. So
right. They've only lost three games.
yeah,
They lost to Ohio Wesleyan first weekend, one
yep.
nothing. They lost to Alvernia 2-0, and they lost to SUNY New Paltz 1-0.
And they tied Denison.
And they tied Denison.
They tied
Yeah.
MSOE.
Mm-hmm.
Lost to New Paltz, which was a surprise. Tied Kane, which was one they shouldn't. That's Those are the ones that raise questions for me.
Right.
Like you shouldn't
Yeah.
tie
Right.
Kane. It shouldn't be something. You shouldn't tie kings at home. So
So it's going to be a good game too, and I think the 15-point differential in the rankings
yeah,
is probably indicative of how competitive
yeah,
this game will be.
yeah. That I agree. All right, this
All
one.
right,
Oh my gosh, this
third
is.
most
Oh
difficult
my
game,
god. Oh my
or
god.
most
The
competitive
next
game, or whatever
the
whatever you want
next
to call
three
them.
are pretty brutal, by the way. Like these are brutal.
So this one is a differential of 14. You've got the number 22 Cortland versus the number 36 Messiah.
Yeah. I
Are
don't
we
I
buying
don't.
Messiah now?
That's a good question.
And the reason why I ask is, yeah, they haven't lost in a while. They struggled. At one point, they were what, sub 500, right? They were like
Yeah.
4 or 5 and
4 or
whatever.
5, yeah. At the
Right.
start of the
But
season they were pretty awful.
but who have they played since that time?
No. That's the pause. The
Right.
pause that I have.
Like we're talking about, yeah, Messiah's
Yeah.
back. They're shutting teams out. They figured it out,
I
right?
mean, and the toughest team they played was York,
Yeah,
and they beat them 4-0,
right.
you know.
Yeah,
Um
after they lost to Mary Washington and tied Lycoming.
yeah.
Then they went on this winning streak. Beat Eastern,
Yeah.
beat Lancaster Bible, beat Hood,
Yeah.
beat York, beat Alvernia, beat Stevenson, beat Widener, beat Albright, beat Alvernia again, beat York again. I mean,
Yeah.
not that
I don't
impressive. So is it a
know.
question of they've figured it out and they're good now, or is it a question of they just played nobody, and when they played teams, they struggled?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like they moved some kids around. Jarek's in the back now. Morlotti's in the back, which apparently makes a big difference. But I don't know. I'm not sure about this one.
Yeah. And
I don't know what to
meanwhile,
think of
right,
Cortland.
like the Cortland's run through the gauntlet in the SUNYAC, which is always, for the most part, pretty competitive.
Yeah, and they haven't lost since
No.
early October to Williams, 1-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their three losses are 1-0 to Williams. That really weird midweek game against Oneonta where they
Oh,
lost 4-0,
yeah. And then
and then they lost
Alvernia.
to Alvernia 3-2,
Yeah.
which I think that was a weird game too. That kid from
Yeah. Yeah.
Alvernia, a
Yeah.
striker who I like, had a game and a half.
And
So
then I mean, they lose to Williams and they beat Oswego 3-1, Potsdam 2-0, Fredonia 5-0, Morrisville 3-0, Delhi 3-0, Canton 8-0, and then they tied Buffalo State. I am so I am going to pick Cortland. However, if Messiah does win, they're my pick to go to the Final Four. You heard it here first.
okay, that's all I have to say about that.
That's all I have to say about that.
That's all I have to say about that.
You know what? Sometimes the pressure of not being the top dog is good.
So they get that game's going to be up in Williams.
Yeah. And so the winner plays Williams who?
Williams,
Williams
Manhattanville.
Manhattan. So Williams. It would be
Well, I'm excited to see the potential of Messiah Hopkins
yeah.
in the Sweet 16 game.
That would be a fun game to watch.
That'd be a great game to watch.
I might have to go to that one. Like
Yeah,
that's
that'd be a good
how
game to watch.
that would be. That would be
So,
one heck of a game. Like that
right?
would just based on that would just be.
Chess match.
Chess match. Total
Yeah.
chess match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oof. All right, so
I think
I'm
like
gonna
the NESCAC schools are playing cornhole.
yeah.
Just get it up,
Yeah.
throw it up there.
Throw the bean bag. Throw
Throw
the
the
bean
beanbag.
bag.
Get it to the other side quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't
Like
have to
that.
get right in. It could slide and bump each other. That's fine too.
Yeah, you can knock it in, right?
Knock it
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
Just get your beanbags around the hall
Just
and
get
then just
close. Just get close enough, and then we could batter it and badger
and
it in
then
with the other
and then mayhem.
beanbag.
Oh, that's so bad.
Oh Lord.
That's
Oh
so bad.
Lord. Okay. Hate mail cometh.
I know. Yep.
Uh,
Yep. Yep.
all, all right.
uh, number
Let's go.
nine or two. Number two, the second most competitive game based on rank differential. 10 points separates number 29 Rowan from number 39 Vassar.
Wow. Wow. I like Vassar, and I've
Yeah,
liked Rowan. Rowan's just so unpredictable for me when
yeah.
they play good teams.
I thought they got shafted a little bit. I would like to have seen them somewhere else.
In a
Although I
different
still think
bracket?
in a different bracket because they get
Yeah.
Vassar, a very good Vassar team, and then they get Middlebury.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. But Rowan's that's interesting because Rowan won the NJAC, right?
Mm-hmm.
They won it. And Vassar won the Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say this: if Vassar on a good day can beat anybody, and
Wow.
I think they could beat Rowan here,
Okay.
despite where I think Rowan is really good defensively, is very
Mm.
organized.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
yeah, I'm gonna call it that way. I don't. I think. I think Rowan. I think if Rowan's going to win, they need to get goal early, and then their I think defensively they just got to basically bear down and frustrate Vassar. I think that's how they win.
Okay. I think they can do that.
Yeah,
They can
and then
certainly
they
do
have
that.
Middlebury, which
Right.
yeah,
Well, coming out of the NJAC, I think those schools, whoever comes out of the NJAC, it's usually Montclair's, Rowan
yeah,
historically as well. I think those guys can play with anybody.
yeah, yeah. I think I think the thing about the NJAC, it is literally the soccer. Hate to say it, like soccer goes out the window a little bit at the
Oh yeah,
NJAC
oh
when
yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's just a pure who can beat the other one senseless, right? And I think that's the
Yeah,
way the whole
that's what I'm saying. I think
conference
those
is.
guys can play. I think Rowan can play with anybody. They
Yeah,
also have the benefit though of they have a lot of talent.
yeah,
They're not
yeah.
just big, strong, fast, physical
No. They
team.
have some guys who can.
They can play.
Yeah, they have that one kid who's like their left mid. I think he's really good. He's really talented. He's not
They're a
that
good team,
big.
sir.
He's not jacked. So, all right.
All right, the
Well, this
toughest
last
game.
one.
The toughest game. A differential of 3 in the MPI
Wow.
rankings. Number 28, Oglethorpe. Number 31, Claremont.
Look at that. 6 ties, Oglethorpe.
Yeah.
The Stormy Petrels.
9, 2, and 6 versus 12, 3, and 3.
Yeah.
3 points. Three places.
That is. And they lost to Rhodes in the final. No, they beat Rhodes in the final.
Oglethorpe.
Oglethorpe, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they played. Oh, they're going out to Colorado, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I I liked Oglethorpe last year. Not so much this year. I like Claremont Mud Scripts. I think that's a very good team. Uh,
Oglethorpe's played a bunch of tournament teams. They played Belhaven. They played Emory twice.
Emory, yeah.
Lynchburg, Washington, and Lee.
Covenant when Covenant was like undefeatable at that point, I think.
Center. Rhodes. Played Rhodes twice.
Rhodes twice. Berry,
So,
yeah. I'm gambling. I'm gambling your money on the California team. Like I said, I
Claremont.
liked Oglethorpe last year. I thought they were pretty. They were really good. Not so much this year. I think
You know, it,
they don't have. They're not as explosive as they were last year on attack, especially in
right.
particular.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at their
They
schedule.
were
Though. They
14-3-2 last year.
they play that where they play everybody like twice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Played Redlands twice.
They beat
Won and
Washington and
lost.
Lee last year.
They
So,
played Oxy 3 times.
yeah.
They beat Oxy. They tied Oxy. They beat Oxy. God, man, it's tough to play somebody 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah, that's because there's only like 8 schools in
I know.
the
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
yeah. That's why they end up playing like preseason. They're playing like the best JUCOs around, and
Right, yeah.
I think they played a couple Division II teams.
So there you have it. Those are 10 games for all
Wow.
the marbles in my pocket.
For all the marbles, I'm going 10 for 10. This is where I just let everyone eat my dust.
So you go 10 for 10, you might have a chance to pass me.
It
Might
might be
not.
close. You
Might
have to
not,
get.
but
What do you have
it
to
might
do?
not.
Like get
I have to go
negative
0 for
20?
10.
Yeah. I'll get. I'll
So
get.
I'm gonna
You know,
pick.
I got a good family man who could take care of you on that. Like, and
I'm gonna
we'll.
pick. I'm gonna pick Mount Union. I'm gonna pick St.
Yeah.
Lawrence. I'm gonna. I'm gonna pick Virginia Wesleyan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen like. I got to go back to the board since I haven't looked today,
Careful.
but
Careful.
yeah. No, just like, everyone the quick analysis people make on like the picks and all that
Hmm.
and the MPI, like I'm curious to find out who are the teams that got left out.
Right, and that's well, that was, and that was my question when I said how do the I don't understand the MPI. How does a team like Bowdoin get in, or Hamilton for that matter?
Yeah.
And the question was, well, who would you rather see in? And I threw some teams out there, but it wasn't that like, oh, I want to see Virginia Wesleyan instead of Bowdoin. I'm
Yeah.
just curious, how does a 13-2-2 team
Yeah, not
not
make it.
have enough points
Yeah.
when a Hamilton or Bowdoin, when they don't beat anybody? Bowdoin didn't
Yeah.
beat anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, their schedule is tough, yeah, but they didn't beat anybody. They went in 10 games in an SCAC. They won 2 against the bottom 2. So that was my only point about it. You know, and somebody, I think it was one of the Hopkins guys, made a good point. Like, we don't think these teams at the 30 to 50
Mm-hmm.
range are going to win the tournament.
Yeah.
So it's really doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
But
But
I
this
just
is
don't
the
understand
point
it.
I made. This was the point I made with Western Connecticut. And look, nobody plays like super soft schedules, right? Like, so your conference, relative strength of your conference isn't necessarily, you can't pick that. It just sort of
Right.
happens. So, yeah, NESCAC's a tougher one. But you know what? To go 13-2-2 is kind of really hard to do. That's not an easy under any circumstance. Like I said with Western Connecticut, to go 20-0-1 is not an easy proposition.
20-0-2. I
20
mean,
and 2
yeah, I
under
mean,
any circumstance.
but I mean, their schedule was, yeah, well,
Right.
I mean, they
But
played
again,
Vassar,
yeah,
they played Vassar, they played Merchant Marine Academy, they played Drew. So, that's the year they went 20-0-2.
right. And then
And
they
again,
lost, they
they
lost in the
tied,
conference tournament final and they
they
went to
tied,
PKs. They
right,
tied and went to PKs and lost in
right,
PKs.
yeah,
And my point isn't, again, I understand strength of schedule and all that stuff, but and like, to win is hard, under consistently win game
mm-hmm,
over game is hard.
mm-hmm,
And I hate to say it, right? Like, again, Hamilton, I get this, now you're relying strictly on strength of schedule rather than the performance that they're doing on the field. And to me,
right,
that's not, ultimately, this is a game about goals and winning. And
yeah,
so the teams that are 13-2-2 maybe should be looked at more seriously or weighted more seriously just for the sake of doing that than a team that goes 7-6-4, whatever it was. And I don't know.
yeah.
I
No,
To
I
me,
agree.
it doesn't seem like it seems like one games the system and the other one plays the games. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to justify Mount Union should have been in, and Virginia Wesleyan, and maybe there should be a limit on the number of teams that can participate from any one conference.
Oh, I don't think that's the answer, the solution.
You
Um, and somebody, one of the NESCAC fans, brought up a good point, which is valid. Where, okay, so the seventh or eighth team in the NESCAC, they're going to give the Mount Unions a game. Yes, they will. I'm not saying Mount Union's better than Bowdoin. I'm just saying Bowdoin probably doesn't deserve to be in as much because they didn't win.
Correct. That that's where I say
Right,
one is gaming the system. That's what I
right,
mean. Like,
right,
again, it's
right,
not about winning. It's not about, no.
right.
I'm
Well, they're not gaming. It's the NESCAC, and they're
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
gaming the
No, I totally
system.
get that. I totally get that.
Right,
That's
right,
not what I didn't mean. Like,
right,
they're
right, right,
being
right,
nefarious about it, but
right, right.
that's how you're getting in, because the system is rewarding you for something other than your wins on the field.
Yeah, the NESCAC protection index. That's what
Yeah,
somebody
did you
called
see
it.
that? Yeah.
That was
That
great.
was brilliant. I was
That was
laughing at that one. I
that was
saw
good.
that. I was
Yeah,
like,
that
I
was
was like,
good.
I am not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
That
I just,
was good.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
yeah.
all right. So I
All
will
right.
post this. I will
Yeah,
get this up. They'll probably end up getting either tonight or tomorrow. With the
I'll give you a little bit of
links.
time. I'll
Eh,
post the
eh,
link tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. And then we'll
Um,
drama. Big weekend. So
Drama. Come on, Cookie.
come on, Cookie, make a comeback.
Rooting for
Um,
Cookie.
all right, EJ, Eric, it was fantastic as always.
Good stuff.
Thanks for all the
Be
hard work.
well.
All right.
May the odds forever be in your favor.
Yes, which they're
Yes,
not, but that's
they're
okay.
not.
Thank you.
Yep. All
All
right.
right. Cool.
See ya.
Thanks.